to the Super Speedway.
Welcome to episode 344 of the Super Speedway podcast, recorded Thursday, December 26th, 2024. I'm your host, Eric Young, and I'm joined, as always, by my co-host, James Cush. James, merry day after Christmas.
Merry day after Christmas to you too, sir.
How's it going?
We survived.
We did.
It's the off season.
Yes.
I got the invite from you to join the episode, and normally I go through this whole routine of, okay, I gotta have this tab open, that tab open, and then I remembered, oh wait, it's the off season. I don't need racing reference
Right.
or driver averages and all these other sites I like to use. So I'm still out of whack, but
Yeah, I had to go.
off-season.
I had to go do some stuff before we recorded tonight, and I went and got everything set up on the computer so it was ready to go. And I got home just in case I got home right on the dot, and I'm clicking stuff, and I'm like, man, it feels like I need to have more stuff set up, but I don't because there's not really that much.
We did it.
Yeah.
We made it. We're recording.
We are.
We're here.
We're a week later than normal. Usually we come on before Christmas, but you know,
Somebody is listening somewhere.
yeah, somebody. Maybe.
Well, you know, all the other NASCAR podcasts are sleeping,
Right.
and not doing much, except for, well, Dirty Mo's doing a lot of what they're doing, best ofs, and,
Right.
all that stuff. So their feeds are still going. So we figured we'd jump in and see if we can't snag a couple of those fans, maybe. So
Yeah,
we'll
we
see.
got some stuff. There's been some news that is broken that we can discuss.
Yeah,
but
and we got
mostly-
a gimmick for you.
Yeah, we do have a gimmick. Well,
Yeah.
we're gonna. They're post Christmas wishes, but we got some wishes for the
Happy New Year
25
wishes.
season. So
Yeah,
good stuff. So yeah, we'll just hang out here and chat a little bit, and see how it goes. So typical off season podcast. We're not. I mean, shoot, it's not like we put a ton of effort in anyway. So it's pretty much the normal thing. We just aren't talking about a race. So
we've been doing it for so many years, right? We've been doing this podcast for a long time,
Right.
And it's really like riding a bike when you get going.
yeah,
And what's funny is I work with people in my actual job, and every time I have to record them for like a webinar or a podcast or something, they all freak out, and it's because they never do it.
Right.
And every time I come on here, I'm like, oh, let's go, man. We've been doing this forever, and we're approaching a decade of doing this dang thing.
I know.
So 2025. That'll be what, Eric? That'll be 8 years.
yeah, our eighth year.
2025?
Eighth year.
Yeah. So dang, dude, we've been in the game for a minute.
Yeah,
so
it's funny
we
because
got
like
this.
we do show notes for every episode. We put some stuff down to discuss, but we can have 3 pages of show notes, or we can have a half a page of show notes. The episode's going to be the same length
It's going to be an hour and 15 to an hour and 45.
every time. Doesn't matter. Maybe a little shorter tonight because we don't have a race to discuss, but probably not. I mean, let's be real.
It's going to be an hour.
Yeah.
I have no
for
doubt
sure.
about that.
Yeah.
If there was ever an over under for our episodes, it's going to be hovering around that 115 mark.
Yeah, for sure.
So yeah. So yeah, take the over. Usually you'll hit.
Yeah, definitely.
Put that on FanDuel or DraftKings. If any of those guys want to support us, by the way,
Right, yeah,
we could do that.
We're down for some sponsorships. If people want to
Heck
sponsor
yeah.
us,
We're not ashamed.
We like money.
Yeah. except from Fanatics. I don't want their money.
Yeah.
Everybody else, I'll take their money.
Yeah, it really bothers me, like being a hockey fan, that all the hockey jerseys are Fanatics branded jerseys now.
I don't know how I don't know why I pulled that out of the air, but I think I know why. It's because I saw a thread on Twitter today of everybody's Christmas gifts from Fanatics. And I saw a Detroit Eagles jersey. As everybody knows, it's the Detroit Lions,
Right.
and the Philadelphia Eagles. But no, there was a Lions jersey with the Eagles logo plastered right across the front. I saw it with my own eyes. It's on my Twitter feed. So
Oh boy.
that made me laugh. There was a few of those. Some numbers that had like 23 on the front of the jersey and 32 on the back. Like Fanatics, really good stuff. Good stuff.
I mean,
Yeah. Remember when
nothing beats the outroar over the MLB when they took over those.
Oh yeah, they're not doing that. I think we already know they're not doing that next year.
Right.
Remember when Fanatics brought the tents?
Oh my God. Hated
Is that the
tents.
maddest you've ever seen me? I probably was. I was griping a lot. Well, I gripe. I mean,
Yeah,
I know who
I don't know.
am.
It's pretty tough to
I know
judge.
the creature. I know the creature that I am, and that might have been like day one, like ground zero for me, and for why I've become the way I am.
Yeah, I don't know.
Because of those dang Fanatics tents.
It's hard to judge the level of James grumpiness because there's a lot to compare it to.
When it's always on, you can't really pinpoint
Right.
any one thing.
Yeah, so I was talking to James before we started recording, and this is some inside baseball for you guys, but I moved my setup around, and my mic arm is not wanting to stay up, and it's driving me freaking crazy. So if you keep hearing me mess with my microphone, that is why. So
I haven't heard anything yet, but if it leads to your grumpiness, then we're doing good things.
In theory, the equipment I have is pretty good, and it shouldn't record, it shouldn't go over, but who knows? I don't know.
Yeah.
Well,
anyway. If you hear me clicking around or searching any articles, that's what I have going on. So
feels like
it's the off season, man.
The more I mess with it, the worse it gets. So anyway, don't touch it. Stop touching it.
It's like I'm talking to my kids. Don't stop. Stop touching it.
Right.
You're only gonna make it more infected.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Well, and I'm going to be grumpy too because I do have the Bears game on right next to me too as we're recording this, so that'll probably irritate me as well. So.
Oh, you're still watching them?
No, it just happens to be on tonight, so I turned it on. It's on Prime, so had to fire up the old Prime machine and get my money's worth out of my Amazon Prime subscription. So.
I know you're. You like the Lions now.
Yeah, we'll see.
Deep down in your soul.
James, I will say again, I am not a Detroit Lions fan. I am a Dan Campbell fan.
Ah, okay.
That's my way of getting in. All right.
Did you like his Christmas sweater?
Yeah, the Christmas sweater was so good.
Enough said.
That was pretty good. I think it was better. Did you see the NFL memes thread going around with the Christmas sweaters? And there was one for Dan Campbell.
Yes.
So I think it was better than that one. His
wife is pretty good at the content game.
I know. I just followed her on Insta because
her Victory Monday at Starbucks. She's good at that.
Yeah, I had to follow her because it's good stuff. So
yeah. Speaking of the Detroit Lions again, a good football team.
Yeah, they're all right. They're all right this year.
So I messaged you a couple days before Christmas, and I knew instantly that you would enjoy it. So I had to share it with you. Because I was at the beginning of the year when the Lions announced they were going to have black jerseys. I was doing a thing.
Yeah, I wasn't going to do a black flag tonight, but I might have thrown this one out there. So I'm glad you're bringing it up.
So my in-laws, God bless them, they're great. They got me a Detroit Lions uniform with my name on. I thought it was fantastic. I was like, this is great.
It's awesome.
And it's the black.
I'm so
Motor
happy.
City
I was so happy. The funniest,
which I made fun of at the beginning of the year.
Yeah, the funniest thing is, what you shared in the group chat, it was something like you guys like this or something like that, and you just shared the picture with no commentary at first.
Yeah,
and my wife was sitting right there, and I lost it, and she was wondering what I showed her, and I said James he's gonna comment that he got the black jersey for Christmas, and sure enough, there it came. Great stuff.
I love
Karma,
that you know
man.
Me so well.
Karma got ya.
I know, and I do like it a little bit better now. I will
they're
say,
such good jerseys, and the helmets make it too. Those freaking flat helmets are so cool.
And I know you like the number that I got.
Yeah, I did like the number. The number was no surprise.
Even though it's Amon-Ra St. Brown's number.
Yeah,
I had to rock the 14.
Yeah, it might be his number, but it's yours and Tony's too. So
yeah, deep down, yeah. We can still have it. So
I don't know though. I mean, there's a number 20 decoration in your yard, so I don't know.
Well, you can't. Yeah, you know what? Actually, I took that down today because it was getting a little the old smoke. My old Tony Stewart blow up that I've had for
you might want to clarify a little bit more what it is. But
yeah, I should. It's a race car with snowmen, but it's the old Home Depot scheme. And I have a yard full of blow-ups. Some like Elmo is out there, Tigger is out there, but also Tony Stewart.
If you saw the mental image I have when you said you have a yard full of blow-ups.
Yeah. I know. But my Tony Stewart race car has, and I send you and Todd a picture every year because I plug that dang thing in and I'm like, this is the year. This is the year it's not going to work. And sure enough, the lights come on, it inflates to completion, and then it's good to go.
It lasted longer than Stuart Haas racing.
Dude, that thing has been, it's 20, next year will be 20 years for the 05. Now I will say it does have some, it does have duct tape along the lower left quarter panel.
A little bit of patchwork.
A little bit of patchwork on there, but that's really the only damage that it has. But it's actually hanging in my garage now. I kind of put it away early because I don't know how many years that thing's got left. So,
dude, it's a classic. You got to be careful with that stuff.
It says smoke on the roof. It's one of my favorite. It really is like the thing that keeps me going through Christmas.
It's good stuff.
Having that race car in my front yard, and everybody knows.
I do have a
Yeah,
Tony
who knows?
Stewart Home Depot Christmas ornament for the tree.
Oh, I've got. I don't get my ornaments out anymore.
Yeah, we didn't get them
because
out
the
this
kids,
year either.
No, my kids have taken over everything.
We just didn't get them out because we're lazy.
No, I have I have many NBA figurines, but I also have some NASCAR, and I got some good Tony Stewart ones over the years, but none of them came out this year, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Or fortunately, I guess if you're my wife, probably fortunately. Let the kids have the Christmas tree.
Yeah.
My decorations don't come out anymore. I have like 30 nutcrackers too.
Oh, really?
That's a whole oh my God, that's a whole thing. My mom gets so mad at me. I don't bring them out. She goes, you collected those your whole life. I'm like, yep, I sure did.
Yeah.
But my choice to have them too, apparently.
We have a lot of Christmas ornaments, but so my job is to bring the tree up and put the tree up. And then Kay and the boys' job is to decorate the tree. And
that's
well,
good.
I mean, Kay does all the wrapping and all that stuff.
Good
so she does a ton
job
of
by
stuff.
you, man.
So for the most part, it's up to the boys to decorate the tree. So the nice thing is if they don't put much up, then we don't have to feel bad because we didn't put the effort in because it's their job. So we just put up some basic Christmas decorations, and it's pretty. Most of the sentimental ornaments have stayed in the totes for the last 2 years. So
Well, and Eric, as you know, my wife works for the world's largest Christmas
That is
store. You
true.
can Google it. You can Google it, and it's a thing. So I mean, our Christmas spirit is varied, but but yeah, we have to decorate. It's pretty much mandatory.
I'm gonna have to put some concerted effort in next year to not be so Scroogey because I was pretty Scroogey this year, and it wasn't like I hate Christmas. It was just like I wasn't in the spirit of it at all. So. I don't know.
You know what?
The boys are almost 13 years old, so the magic's kind of worn off, and it's just not quite the same.
You know what, Eric? I'll give you a piece of advice. If you stay Scroogey long enough, it'll actually work out in your favor. And let me give you an example as why. My in-laws. Now, I got the Lions jersey, which is awesome.
Right.
But usually what my in-laws will do is they will gift me things that I actually need because I am so Scroogey. So this year I got an 80-pack of garbage bags, and I got towels for the garage, like hand towels for the garage. This is, I mean, fantastic. Grocery list is partially knocked out because I needed those garbage bags big time, and it brings me more joy opening those garbage bags than it does pretty much anything else. So.
That's funny.
Yep.
So I was an only child, so I was spoiled growing up.
I was spoiled as well.
So I'm of the mindset like that Christmas is about that big extravagant gift that you wouldn't buy yourself, that type of thing.
Oh yeah.
So I'm always disappointed because obviously, I mean, my wife is very different. She's a practical gift person, so she would be like excited about garbage bags.
Yeah, me too. Yeah.
So we don't do well getting gifts for each other because we both end up disappointed because I spend too much and she buys something that's practical and neither of us are happy. And so we don't do gifts for each other anymore. We do like little stocking stuffers and that's it. And we just get stuff for the boys. And I finally got it to where like I don't buy gifts for anybody. Nobody buys gifts for me. And it's perfect because
you nailed it. Damn it.
I just go buy the stuff that I want when I want it. And I don't have to act happy about stuff I don't like. And I don't have to put on a little show of excitement. And I'm just good. I just do my thing. And nobody's expecting anything from me at this point. So it's perfect.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. You nailed it, dude.
It's the way to do it, man.
You did. You figured it out. Although I will say
it took a long time to get there.
So what I've started doing, I've tried the, you should just donate it to charity thing.
Yeah.
I've tried that. I've tried for years. And then finally this year I said, Mom, I either need a new vacuum or a new TV because my TV is starting to go.
Yeah.
She goes, oh, great. I will get you the TV. And I said, great. If you need any extra money to pay for whatever you pick out, just let me know. And of course, no, they got me it's a pretty nice TV, but no, I don't use it. My kids use it.
Right.
I get it on Sundays when the Lions are on. That's about the gist of it. Usually I'm watching whatever the kids show is on Netflix that's on right now. Whoever the heck knows. But.
I bought a 4K TV like 6 years ago, and I've never watched 4K content on it because I don't pay the extra for the 4K streaming.
That's right. Yeah.
And I watch everything on my iPad anyway, so.
I am excited to watch the Daytona 500 on it, though. I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
But the Lions games are looking pretty good now.
So I will say, and I was going to bring this up at some point tonight, so now's a good point. Of course, I'm watching Prime right now, and it doesn't look as great. But so I don't ever watch the Thursday Night Football on Prime because I don't really watch a lot of football anyway. But a couple weeks ago when the Lions were on, I flipped it on and watched it, and the clarity of the broadcast made me super excited for the prime races this year. Because I think the image is going to be awesome. Because NASCAR looks prettier than football in high def for sure. So
it's gonna the prime Amazon does a good job with the clarity. Now Netflix not so much.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think Prime will do a good job.
Yeah, I'm excited about it.
Yeah.
So let's talk some news, James. There's some news stuff that happened while we were away. We'll start with the lawsuit because there's been lawsuit news. NASCAR has basically ruled against, or the judge basically ruled against NASCAR, saying that NASCAR has to allow 2311 and Front Row to run as chartered entries. Mm-hmm. And also approve the sale of the Stewart-Haas racing charters to those two teams for next season. Mm-hmm. NASCAR, of course, is appealing that decision, which is not surprising. But this is a pretty big win for 2311 and Front Row, don't you think? I mean,
yeah, massive.
I mean, this kind of really puts NASCAR in the hole. Like, where do you go from here if you're NASCAR?
Yeah, and honestly, Eric, I think. When this has been good, this is an ongoing saga. And it's not gonna be over anytime soon. I think this is gonna go into this is probably going to be resolved in the 2026 season. I would imagine. But I initially, when this whole thing got started, I thought, man, nobody's ever gone after NASCAR, and I think 2311's got a case here, and Front Row too. And I'm like, man, they might, if they press hard enough, they might get somewhere with this, because nobody has had the depth and the backing that they have with Michael Jordan kind of in the back pocket.
Right.
And no other NASCAR team owner can go as hard as what 2311 is going to be able to do.
Yeah, they're pretty much in the best position if you're going to challenge NASCAR.
Yeah, we're starting to see the reaping of the rewards of that part of it now, because they're making some headway here.
Yeah, this is a big win.
They've kind of knocked NASCAR back on their heels a little bit. I'm of the belief that NASCAR will eventually settle this.
Yeah.
One way or another.
I'm just curious how they settle it, because how do you settle it with these two teams without giving more to all the teams?
Yeah, and that's the other thing. I think I've seen a lot of conversation about this on online, but one of the questions that is out there right now is, can other teams now get involved? And right. I guess I don't know the answer to that, because the other teams have already signed the agreement that says they can't sue NASCAR.
See, what I see happening is, if NASCAR settles this, or 2311 and Furniture Row win, then it's just going to trigger a second lawsuit, and it's going to be all the rest of the teams coming after NASCAR.
They're going to want the same,
because NASCAR's not just going to give it to them voluntarily.
Right. So, but yeah, I think there's going to be some sort of settlement here. That's just and again, I'm a legal expert, so I know.
Right. Yeah. What do you think of this decision? I mean, I know you've kind of been on the 2311 side, James. Are you happy with this decision? You think this is the right decision?
Yeah. I mean, if I'm rooting for one side, I'm definitely rooting for the teams to. I'm rooting for the teams to win.
Right.
Not to the point. I should clarify though. I don't want the teams to win to the point where it actually hurts the sport.
Right.
But I don't think that's possible. So I think the teams winning here, I think the teams, the drivers, everybody below NASCAR should have a little bit more power, a little bit more say. So I'm glad every time 2311 and Front Row get a little win, get a little bit more in their favor, we're making progress in the right direction.
See, and I've said from the beginning that I'm kind of on the NASCAR side on this scenario, but being that as it may, I think the better result for the sport is the one that we have right now, because I think NASCAR winning leads to a split.
Yeah,
because those teams are going to do something else then that don't want to play in this playground. And that's going to cause a split like we saw in IndyCar, and that's the worst thing for our sport. So it's better for NASCAR to get knocked down a little bit and keep the teams here, give the teams the win, versus NASCAR, because if NASCAR wins, the teams are going to go play somewhere else, or some of them will.
And that's the thing. NASCAR couldn't lose this case, but they're going to come out. They're still going to be the they're still going to be the winners overall.
Yeah, they're still going to
Like,
be the number one
Yeah.
motorsport in the country.
Yeah.
If they lose, if they win this, they may not be.
Yeah, so like instead of winning the football game by 34 points, they're winning by 14.
Right.
You know what I mean? They're
Yep.
gonna, it's just the teams are gonna cover the spread at the end of the day. They're gonna make up some of the difference that is always been on NASCAR's side. Like, and reading about this stuff, and again, man, I'm reading things that are, it's. I can't dive into the legalese of this whole thing.
Dude, I read a lot of lawsuit stuff for my job as a journalist, and I'm in the dark, man. I'm clueless. Lawyers write stuff to so the lay people can't understand anyway. That's the point. It's because then you need lawyers. So it's tough, and we depend on people like Matt Weaver to go in and decipher it for us. But he can only do what he can do too. And
right. But when you hear guys like Brad Keselowski kind of confirm that, there was a hard deadline,
right,
and things like that, like other teams are speaking out just a little bit, other drivers are speaking out just a little bit. For the most part, everybody else is kind of playing nice, on the on the perimeter of this whole thing. But again, I think everybody's got a careful eye on what's happening, and obviously the teams are paying close attention to what's going to happen here, but. I mean, it's good. It's better for the sport to have 2311 and Front Row racing chartered, because we also learned that,
yeah, definitely.
I mean, we learned that Tyler Reddick had an out in his clause.
Yep.
And would have been a free agent had this decision not happened.
Yep.
So, who, like, for example, only as an example, does Hendrick Motorsports say, "Ooh,
right,
Alex Bowman, would you like to do something different?" You know what I mean? Again, it could be any team, but that was just something I had thought of, because Tyler Reddick, once in a, he's a generational talent, up there with the likes of Larson and some of the others that are, champions in the sport. So yeah, I mean, if he would have been a free agent, that would have shaken up a ton of stuff out there.
And not only that too, but look at Stewart-Haas Racing and the dog they had in this fight, with absolutely no representation whatsoever, because if NASCAR doesn't approve the transfer of the charters, now they're stuck with charters that it just immediately drop in value because there's nobody to buy them. Especially if you're limited to 3 teams per this new charter, which I guess we're still not certain about. But if you're limited to 3 teams, who's got a space to add a charter, So it's not like they're going to be, and this is a team that's shutting down. They just laid a bunch of people off, so they can't field a team. So this is a great win for them, because it allows them to get out from underneath this thing and let somebody else deal with it.
Right. And I read yesterday that Stewart-Haas Racing, even in its current, or not Stewart-Haas Racing, Haas Factory team. Right. Haas Factory team is actually going to be basically a 4th RFK car. Yeah. It's really not even going to run on its own. It's going to be, a kind of an affiliate team. So they definitely don't have the means to field. They can't field three entries out there. Right. So yeah, it would have been a mess for them too. Yeah.
So in the end, great win for them. And like I said, they had absolutely no representation in the fight whatsoever.
Yeah. Tony and Gene get a little bit of money in their pocket. Yeah. And off they go. Right. to do their thing. So yeah. Yep.
So yeah, like you said, I think this is going to be a long deal, but the other thing too is would it be better if everybody just agreed and we just kept moving on? Yeah. Yeah. But this is the type of stuff that allows, things to change and people to get better deals and the system to change. And without this, I mean, you can, I know there were a lot of hard feelings, Dave Moody, for example, about Michael Jordan coming in and making these moves and that they're not entitled to do this because they're new to the sport and blah, blah, blah. But in the end, that's how this stuff changes. This isn't a personal thing. This isn't Michael Jordan coming in and saying, "Screw you, NASCAR. I'm going to screw you for all you got." No, it's him coming in and trying to and taking his understanding of models outside of the sport and saying, "This is how we can apply those here, and this is what's fair, what we think is fair for us." And NASCAR says, "No, that's not fair. This is what's fair." And now there's a court system that's going to determine the middle ground. Yep. And that's how this stuff works. That's what the court system is about. It's not a personal thing. It's about finding what's best for everybody, or what is the most acceptable for everybody. Because again, nobody's going to win. I mean, nobody's
Right.
going to get everything they want. It's a compromise.
Right.
It's what's going to.
Well, and think of this too, Eric. This is another thing I thought of. Every major sport in this country has had a work stoppage at some point
Yeah.
to help leverage the players on the field.
Yep.
And NASCAR really has never had that.
Yeah.
That over time, teams and drivers have been able to establish some power over the sport. But there's never been a point, the bargaining and the collective agreements and things like that. It's never gotten to the point of a work stoppage. But you think back to Eric. You're an NHL fan.
Yeah.
You guys lost an entire season to work stoppage. Baseball has lost a season.
Baseball never recovered.
Baseball never recovered. Yeah, I mean, until what, like the Mark McGuire, Sammy Sosa thing kind of helped it, but yeah, baseball's never, never come back. And the NFL's even had work stoppages, and they've had, they've had scabs, I guess, work, out there playing. This is before our time.
Well, they went without referees for a while too.
The NBA, the NBA didn't have a union at one point, and they had a big all-star game broadcast that was going to be coming out, and the players were going to not play in that game, and were able to establish a union. So this happens in major sports.
Well, it's happening in college sports right now too.
Oh my God. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, that's huge. I don't even watch college sports, but I've listened to multiple podcasts about that whole situation.
The whole landscape's changing.
Yeah.
The whole landscape. And you've got college coaches who are just like, this is too much for me, and are actually just retiring. Like that happened today. A college coach was like, I can't keep up with this.
Right.
That's all good. That's going to continue to get worse until there's some sort of a cap. So
yeah. Oh yeah.
But yeah, NASCAR has never had anything like this, and it's not to say it's I don't want to say it's a shame that the other teams didn't join in on this, but I am glad that there's a couple of teams out there that are like, we think we can make a difference for the betterment of ourselves and our peers. And I think that's we're going to look back on this, I think, in 10, 15 years, Eric, and it's going to be a turning point in the sport. One way or
100%. 100%.
Yep. Things are going to change from here. Just like, not to compare it to Dale Earnhardt, but that was a turning point in safety in our sport.
Yep.
And this is going to be a turning point to the business side of things as well.
Yep. I agree.
Yep. There's just those kinds of moments that come along, and this is going to be one of them, I think.
There you go. That's a lot of time for two people who know nothing about law talking about law.
As long as we didn't make people dumber listen to that, I think we did okay.
James, if people are listening to us, they're already getting dumber.
I know. We're listen, we're at the bottom of the barrel with you, man.
Right. Yeah. Well, let's talk about some other things. Let's talk about some good old fashioned NASCAR controversy, James.
Yeah, this is a good one.
Yeah. So NASCAR decided. Well, first of all, Daytona also decided. Daytona doesn't. For all the people that want the Clash to go back to Daytona doesn't want the Clash. They don't want it. It is a waste of time and money for them. They don't fill the seats. People don't come to it. They don't want to deal with it. So we decided to move the Clash to the LA Coliseum. We're going to take it short track racing inside of this, amazing stadium, this historic stadium, bring it to LA, and all the NASCAR fans bitched. Why are we building a racetrack in a stadium when we have a perfectly fine quarter-mile racetrack in a stadium at Bowman Gray? We should race it at Bowman Gray. Okay, awesome. 3 years we do it at the Coliseum, and then NASCAR decides, guess what? We're going to do what everybody wants. We're going to go to Bowman Gray. Everybody's super excited. Yay, Bowman Gray. And then NASCAR comes in and puts safer barriers in and takes out the old red and white guardrail and puts catch fencing in, and everybody loses their minds. You're ruining a historic venue. Oh my freaking God, people.
It never ends, man.
My gosh.
It never ends.
I tell you. So, come on, guys. There's a big difference between running a weekly NASCAR sanctioned show to running the biggest motorsports, series in possibly the world, definitely the country.
Yep.
You have to have more safety.
NASCAR racing is a risk, but you have to minimize some of the additional risk to put on this big of a production.
Yes.
It's
I
the
don't know
same reason.
how Bowman Gray has survived all these years without catch fences on the straightaways anyway.
Has anybody who's listening to this podcast or not, have you ever read the back of your tickets when you go to a NASCAR race?
Yeah, no kidding.
It's pretty, what's the word I'm looking for here, Eric? Pretty revealing,
Yeah.
I guess, because it talks about dying.
Yeah, right.
Because you're within a few hundred feet of cars going 200 miles an hour. If in our case at Michigan.
Yeah.
So yeah, you need to have certain things in place.
Well, and
especially
there's
when it's gonna be on national TV.
We talked about lawyers a minute ago. There's a lot more lawyers watching when it's the biggest series in the country racing at a track versus a bunch of local guys racing every weekend.
The NASCAR lawyers must just be raking it in right now.
No kidding.
With all this stuff.
I mean,
crushing it.
Do you have any issue with these updates to Bowman Gray?
No.
I mean, it's going to make it better in the long run, right?
We're going to see the show. It's going to be fine.
Yeah.
I don't know. Well, you've been to Bowman Gray, Eric.
Yeah.
I mean, you think those fences are going to make it hard to see or anything like that? I don't think so.
No, it's still going to be an awesome race. They're going to paint the walls red and white like they were before. It's going to, it's going to look more modern, but it's still Bowman Gray. The stadium's still going to be the same.
People aren't complaining about North Wilkesboro.
Yeah.
They modernized that a
right.
little bit.
Right.
So, did you see tech inspection's going to take place at Charlotte Motor Speedway and they're going to truck the cars in afterwards?
Yeah, that's in the notes. Did you not read the notes, James?
I did see that. I'm sorry. I did. I see that. I see that now.
No, that's realize I've been there. There's not much space over there in the pits, and they're going to run modifieds that weekend as well. So
yeah, it's going to be a full
great exposure, by the way, for the modifieds to race with the Cup Series out there.
It's going to be honestly that's going to be a great day.
Dude, I almost, because there were single seats available still up until like a month ago, I almost freaking pulled the trigger and said, you know what, I'm just going to fly out there for the weekend and go to this show.
Yeah.
But, and everybody's worried about it being cold, but it's probably not going to be. It'll probably be a decent temperature out there.
Well, if you're here from Michigan like we are, you can handle.
Yeah, 50 degrees is going to feel like summer.
Dude, it was 38 today, and I went for a run today in shorts.
Right.
So it was great.
Yeah.
I'll take it after some of the cold we've had.
I will say, if you want to see what the updates are looking like, Chris Weaver, I believe, on TikTok has been posting updates. He works for one of the TV stations out there. He's been doing weekly updates out there and showing the progress. And so they've got, they brought safer barriers in they've got them from the Coliseum course. They've got some from Auto Club Speedway out there. So yeah, it's quite the effort that's been going in out there, but it's all racetrack infrastructure for the most part.
Mm-hmm.
They haven't touched the stadium. It's still the same old place. The thing I'm curious about is they play college football there too. Are they going to take all this stuff down, I assume, before they play football out there again? I can't imagine they're going to leave catch fencing up all the way around.
No, I'm sure they'll take it down.
So, the safer barriers will probably stay. Maybe. I don't know. Who knows?
Maybe. I don't know.
They built a racetrack in the Coliseum every year, and this has still got to be cheaper than that. So.
Oh, yeah. They're not putting down new blacktop
right.
for it. So, yeah.
So, yeah.
It'll be good.
All in all, I think it's a great deal. I'm excited the race is going to be here. The only thing I think, James, and I'll say this again, I think we've had this discussion when they announced this race. There better be a fist fight during this race.
I wish.
If there's not a good old-fashioned Bowman Gray fist fight, then we failed.
Yeah. Yeah, we have.
Yeah.
Nope.
It needs to happen. I know it's a circus. I know it's not real racing, but that's what the Clash is for. Let's have a circus.
The All-Star race did it. We don't remember a whole lot from the All-Star race, right? But boy, do we remember Ricky Stenhouse and Kyle Busch.
Yep.
So, yeah, it'd be fun.
Yeah. Look back at all the old historic All-Star races. What do we remember? We remember, Darrell Waltrip and Rusty Wallace. Yeah. We remember, the Busch brothers and not inviting each other to Thanksgiving. Those. Yeah. We remember Kyle parking it at Denny Hamlin's hauler after Hamlin wrecked him.
Yeah, I forgot about that one.
We remember all the controversies.
Yeah, one hot night was a controversy, man.
Yeah.
One hot night.
Yeah.
Kyle Petty, did he hit Dale Earnhardt? Did he not? I don't know. Yeah. And then Davey Allison ended up at the hospital. So
right.
Quite a bit of drama for that.
Yeah. All that stuff. That's what you promote. That's what we want to see.
Yep. That's right.
Speaking of good NASCAR news, James, NASCAR apparently considering rotating the championship race at the end of the season.
NASCAR news. That's good NASCAR news.
This is coming, right? This is let's put it this way. People bitch about NASCAR not listening to the fans, but they listen to the fans too much anymore.
Oh yeah.
And it just takes the thing people need to understand is it's a big organization. There's a lot of moving parts, and it takes a long time to make these changes.
Yep.
So this change, I think, is coming. It just is going to be later than everybody wants it to be because there's a lot of moving parts to align.
Yep.
But it sounds like the interesting thing is that unexpectedly, it sounds like it won't necessarily just be a ISC or NASCAR owned track. It could go to an SMI track or something else.
It would be great that if they could do that.
Yeah.
It would be better for the entire sport if we can do that.
I could just see a scenario where you end the season in Las Vegas, follow it up with a big, banquet the week during or the midweek after the championship race, get everything done while everybody's out there. That would be a cool deal.
Man, can you imagine if we did I would love if the Southern 500 and the championship were at Darlington.
Yeah.
If they did two of them, I'd be like, I would actually, listen, man, I'm not complaining. If we put Darlington at the end of the season, I'm totally fine with that.
You can run Darlington 3 times in the playoffs, and I'd be excited.
Dude, we ran Darlington, 4 times in the COVID
Yeah.
year? So we can run Darlington as much as we want.
Yep, no issue with that.
Sure. I'm good with that.
Yeah.
Darn right. But was Charlotte Motor Speedway would be another. I saw a lot of talk about. Some drivers were talking about that. I think, man, was it or Junior? Did Junior say Charlotte would be a good place for it, or maybe it was Brad?
I think. I think a lot of people have said it. The thing
Charlotte
is
would be good right now.
There's a lot of talk about cold weather and stuff, but we raced at Loudon the week after Thanksgiving or the weekend after Thanksgiving.
Yeah, the last race of the season. Yeah, we did.
So we can race in the cold. Most places, it's not usually snowing in Michigan the first week of November. It was warm the first week of November this year.
Dude, we had a white Christmas for the first time in 2 or 3 years this year.
Yeah.
We never have a white Christmas anymore.
But
up here.
You could realistically, you could run the championship race at Michigan if you wanted to. If you do it as early as they're doing it, you could do it. It wouldn't be great, but you could do it.
Boy,
so I don't think there's
in that cold cold weather at that place. That would add to the excitement, I think.
It would. But I don't think there's many places off limits to this if you were to rotate it around. As long as you end in the beginning of November. Once you get past the beginning of November, it gets iffy. Now, starting in February, that's a different deal. You have to start in warm places at the beginning of the year. But the end of the year, I think there's the winter has moved back so much from when it starts now that I think there's room to move it around. So
yeah. Yep.
It'd be cool. I'd love to see it. Hope it happens.
Yep. Me too. I'm all for it. And if we can get Homestead in the rotation, I think that'd be great. And it gives you a little nostalgia.
Yep.
So from some of the good days we've had.
Let's kick it off with Homestead.
Yeah, why not?
Yep.
Why not? People are going to be awful mad during those Phoenix years, though.
Oh yeah, no kidding. No kidding. Definitely eases the pain a little bit more though when you go to a race or a track that you're not that excited about, because at least next year it'll be somewhere else. So
yeah, that's right. Yep.
Of course, then again, NASCAR way back in the day had the All-Star race at Charlotte and then decided to rotate it, and they moved it to Atlanta and then moved it back to Charlotte and then never moved again for years. So, you could always hit a place that everybody really likes and it just never goes away from there. So, who knows? Who knows?
Remember, we were excited that Bristol was going to get an All-Star race.
Yeah.
That was the COVID year too. And it was like, yeah, Bristol's going to get an All-Star race. That's awesome. And then it's like, oh, that wasn't that good.
Yeah, but it didn't get a fair shake either.
No, it didn't get another chance.
Yeah.
And they ran the dumb lights under the cars.
And the numbers moved back.
Oh, that's the start of my plight against humanity.
Yeah. NASCAR has said they are going to have a driver-centric marketing campaign next season, James. Mm-hmm. What a novel idea.
Yeah.
We're going to focus on marketing the drivers?
Yeah, they first mentioned this, I think, over the summer, and it was kind of an afterthought. But yeah, the drivers are going to get paid for some of this.
Yeah, good deal.
Yeah, you've got good stars out there. I wonder if you put some money into it,
right?
What you could do. Yeah.
Get
your guys out there front and center. Boy, the drivers are going to either love it or hate it on this one.
Right. Oh, they'll all whine. They're a bunch of babies.
They don't like their time being messed with.
No.
That is the one thing, man. Drivers do not want their free time messed with.
Yeah. Don't mess with my sim time.
Yeah, yeah. You're gonna tell. So what are you gonna tell Kyle Larson when he's got dirt track races scheduled? He's
Right.
got to go do something.
Yeah.
He's not gonna do
Well,
that.
good luck. Good luck having enough money to pay Chase Elliott to do it.
Have fun having Joey Logano do basically everything, because that's
Right.
what's gonna end up happening.
It's true.
Thank God he's the champ.
Right.
Yeah,
There'll be some young guys who are willing to put the effort in.
You know, there's the Netflix show. I'll say this. I know the Netflix show is coming back a little bit later this year, but the Netflix show is coming back.
I don't even care.
But the Netflix show did show off some personality.
Yeah, it did. It's coming so late.
I know, but I'm gonna watch it.
I'm
gonna watch it. I know. Ross Chastain's not gonna be in it. Neither is Kyle Busch, but I'll watch it. I'll watch it.
Yeah. We got an announcement that NASCAR has adjusted the practice and qualifying procedures for the 2025 season. Both you and I got kind of excited about it, and then I don't know about you, James, but I kind of looked at it and it's kind of really not different.
I initially got more excited than I probably should have.
It's kind of the same, except it's standardized, I guess.
The single car qualifying makes me happy, though.
Yeah, I like single car qualifying.
Let's stop making qualifying convoluted. That's part of it.
Yeah, I'm with you, and I'm not excited about no practice at super speedways still. I realize that practice at super speedways is stupid, but at the same time, especially in the playoffs, you put these cars on the track, and the first time they're on the track is qualifying, and if there's a problem with the car or something, you've just ruined their weekend. This is with 2311 and Front Row being able to run as charter teams. This makes this a little bit less of an issue, but I argued back before that ruling was made that, with those open cars, that those high profile open cars running on these for these super speedway races, that not having practice is a huge disadvantage for them. Yeah. But now that they're going to be chartered cars, it's not. I guess it really doesn't make a difference. They're in the race no matter what. But
with the thing with me in practice is I just want these guys to get reps to be better race car drivers.
Yeah.
And I feel like we kind of quit holding their hands and holding the hands of the teams. Let these guys out there and let them practice.
We don't need
what we used to have.
Right. We don't need 8 hours of practice. We don't need three hour and a half long practice sessions, but give us an hour. Just an hour on Saturday or Friday.
Hours. Make it a happy. Just call it happy hour like the old days. Eric, you nailed it.
I don't even care if they do it after qualifying. Let's qualify with no practice and then give them practice before the race. I don't care.
That's fine too. Yeah, I'd be fine with that. Eric, though, you nailed it when you said, and you said this to me when we were texting about it, but you said we don't need cars on the track all weekend like we used to. We have plenty of events going on.
Right.
At the track, on the track, we have plenty of on-track activity during the weekend.
Yeah.
Because most of the time you got the trucks and Xfinity there all the time anyway.
Yeah, when you used to go to a race in the 90s, you had sometimes it was just the Cup race, and then other times you'd get maybe ARCA, or you'd get an Xfinity race, or you get a truck race. Now half these race weekends are 3-4 races.
Yeah.
You don't need the on-track time.
Eric, the teams used to pull in on Thursday. They'd practice all day Friday, and they'd run practice on Saturday and qualifying.
Hell, they used to have a non-open practice. Like they'd practice on Thursday sometimes with no fans in the stands.
Yep. Yep. And a lot of times too, they'd stay on Monday for testing.
Yeah. Yeah.
They'd be there for 5 freaking days.
Yep.
And then they'd move on. I remember the old EA Sports video game, the old like NASCAR 04, NASCAR 05, those games.
Right.
You do like the full session for a race,
mm-hmm.
and there'd be like practice 1, practice 2, qualifying, happy hour, and I'd always be like, geez, I don't need all this, get it out of my way. And now I'm like, I kind of wish it was back.
Yeah.
The way it used to be.
Yep.
We were spoiled as kids, Eric. We had the golden era.
Yes, we were. Although I watched a video, and I get sucked into these stupid things all the time, but somebody posted, one of those back when racing was real racing or whatever, and it was Talladega.
Yep.
And it was the old Twisted Sister car. I think that's what it was. It was the spring 2001 Talladega race, which was the package that was a great package on the old Twisted Sister car with the one that Earnhardt crashed in the 2001 Daytona 500 that had the wicker bill on the top and created the great racing. But it was the last restart, and it was like the last 5 laps or whatever of the race. And they're like, the people are commenting about how the racing was so good back then, and back when racing was real racing, and now we got what we have. And it's like, I watched it, and it's like, it's it's the same. Like, it didn't look any different. There was one pass for the lead. There was a big pack of cars. It was what we do now. Like, it
Super speedways ebbed and flowed, man.
we just have this memory of the past that is just so glorified. And
yeah, I know people took another clip that went viral was Tony Stewart taking the air off of Harvick at Atlanta. Did you see that one?
Yeah.
And everybody's like, "Oh, look what you used to be able to do." And I'm like, I was like, yeah, but the racing was pretty bad on intermediate tracks for a long time. Like, you guys, it was. Listen, there's great clips out there, and there were some really great races. There were some actually really good Atlanta races back then, but it's not. Our mile and a halves right now are phenomenal. I cannot. I love the era I grew up in, but if you're asking me, hey James, can you put 5 races from the 90s and 2000s on intermediate tracks and make them better than what we've had in the last year? I don't think I could. I don't think I could do that.
No, were there great battles at intermediate tracks? Yes. Were there great finishes at intermediate tracks? Yes.
Oh yeah,
did they happen frequently? Hell no.
Carl Edwards chasing down Jimmy Johnson. That was a once every couple of year thing.
Yeah.
Atlanta was probably the best one, but you'd get those at Atlanta. But man, Eric, we talked about Michigan being a test track for a long time. Like, that was a conversation you and I had many times. Like, God dang it, I wish they would just fix this place. And now they have. So I'm not going to complain about it.
One of the comments on that video of the Talladega race was, that was the person said, I was at the spring Atlanta race, and that racing was pretty damn good compared to this. It's like, yeah, man,
you can't tell me Kansas won this year was not like a top 5 intermediate track all time. That was a phenomenal race from start to finish.
I just wish that the people who used to watch that don't watch now would either watch what we have now before they bitch about what we have now, or just shut up and do something else. Quit complaining about what exists now. If you don't want to watch it, don't watch it. Just shut up.
The problem is everybody's got Twitter and they're all eggs and they can say whatever the heck they want.
I know. It's cool to bitch.
Yeah.
Hell, we do it every week, right? So
yeah, yeah. Most
I would say we get paid for it, but we don't.
Yeah. Oh, that's funny.
Chandler Smith's racing next year, James.
Yeah, what'd you think about this?
Some of the things where people were saying, like, there's a place for him to go, and you'll understand when it gets announced. This makes sense because this announcement obviously didn't come until we knew what was happening with Front Row and the NASCAR or the Cup Series side. So I'm assuming that it had a lot to do with whether they actually got their charter, whether they got their stuff in place that they wanted to get for this season. But I don't know. He's going to have a good chance in trucks in that vehicle, but man, jumping back to trucks, that's...
Yeah. The funny
you can get lost in the truck series pretty easily.
Well, and I ragged on John Hunter Nemechek for doing what he did, but he did it voluntarily, whereas Chandler Smith is fighting to find a seat.
Yeah.
Which still bothers me.
It's not a bad seat, though. Front row's a good seat in the truck series.
He's the championship favorite, I think, going down to the truck series.
Yeah,
that's a good team.
That's a
good team, dude.
I guess I don't know I haven't really paid much attention to who's staying where and who's moving and stuff, so I can't say that. But yeah, he's gonna be a championship contender. I don't know if he's a favorite, but he's a contender. I'll go so far to say he's a contender in that ride.
But here's the problem I have with the whole thing. I think Chandler Smith is Cup ready, and he's 100%. He's gonna have a year where he's not doing anything towards his Cup career now.
But what's worse, going and running a field filler in the Xfinity Series and really being irrelevant, or winning races in the Truck Series?
Front Row does offer him a window into some Cup starts.
Yeah.
So that I think is good.
Not only does it offer him a window into some Cup starts, but we're not certain that any of those seats really are that solid in the Cup Series either in the next 3 years.
That's right. No, and
I don't know what the contracts are, but there's room there.
Is John Hunter Nemechek, bring him up again? Is he going to be safe for much longer?
Right.
There was rumors that he was out already, and looks like he's going to survive to race another year. But I think Chandler Smith needs to go and just absolutely dominate, and just don't leave any doubts. because that was the thing John Hunter didn't do. John Hunter left a lot of like questions out there, and I think that's where Chandler's at right now, because he had that Gibbs ride and didn't make the championship 4, but had a really good season, but didn't win enough. Like, was consistent and good, just didn't win enough. And
Right.
I think when he goes down to the Truck Series, he's got to go after, what do they race, 23 races a year? Dude, go win 9 of those things. Don't leave any doubt. You'll win a championship or not, but go out there and just hammer the field if you can. That is what's going to get you back where you need to be. So this is kind of a reset button year, but I'm glad he's driving, because I didn't want him to be, what was he going to do? Be a brick salesman or something?
Yeah, something.
Hey, it worked out for the Lions kicker. He was a brick salesman.
So what? Right now we've got front row is Todd Gilliland,
Yeah.
Noah Gregson, and it was Zane Smith that was supposed to be in the other one, right?
Yeah, I think Zane Smith's. Yeah, he's going to be.
Was it announced? Has it been announced?
Let me just double check that. I think he's okay now that they got the charter situation figured out. Hold on, I'm going to get that for you. Well, as of now, no, he does not.
Okay, so right now we don't know what's happening with that third car.
Yeah, Zane Smith. Ooh, Zane Smith. Cryptic messages after leaving Trackhouse.
Interesting. So yeah, so we don't. So I mean, I'm not saying that he's going to be in that car next year, but if they run it as, as a chartered car, but rotate a driver lineup through it, there's an opportunity there. Or again, how solid is Noah Gregson for multiple years there? How solid, so we don't know. I would assume Todd Gilliland's pretty safe for a while, but he also was on the chopping block not that long ago. So, there's opportunities there for him. So it's probably not a bad spot to be in. There's at least light at the top of the tunnel if you want to go back to Cup eventually.
Yep.
So it's probably a good move for him. And again,
Well,
he's going to be in a competitive truck. So
yeah, and there's a lot. You brought up a lot of young driver, like young names in there,
right.
And it's like, yeah, these are. I mean, it's kind of crowded down there, but there's going to have to be some movement in the Cup Series at some point.
Yeah, but
we're getting a little bit of it this year.
I mean, this is not that Noah struggled at Stuart Haas necessarily, but this has got to be probably Noah's last shot, right? If he doesn't succeed in this car, he's not going somewhere else.
Yeah, he'll be back down in the Xfinity Series.
Yeah.
If he can't. Yeah.
So
like,
this
Noah,
is.
I don't think Noah's done, but he's,
No,
yeah.
I think he's going to do well in that car. Don't get me. I'm not saying he's going to struggle, but if he does struggle, I think that's the nail in the coffin in the Cup Series for him right now.
I'm looking at. You're gonna love this. I'm looking at the average finish in the Cup Series playoffs. Through the first 6 races during the playoffs. Just to point out how good Zane Smith was doing. He was 7th in the Cup Series in average finish, ahead of Carson Hocevar, who was 9th, ahead of Alex Bowman. So he was right there with Denny Hamlin.
Wow.
Larson. So his playoff run started off really good in the Cup Series. So yeah, if he can get that 3rd seat from front row, that'd be a valuable. That'd be a good lineup to have.
Yeah.
But man, Spire Motorsports, they've got young talent, and Zane Smith floating around.
Yeah.
Man, it's crowded down there.
Yep.
Like Chase Briscoe, I have a hard time thinking he's a one and done at JGR. He's going to get at least 2 years to show what he can do there.
You would think. But I mean, with that much talent available, are you?
It's hard to say.
You're not going to have a William Byron that gets multiple years to get where he needs to be, right?
Yep.
These teams aren't going to take that long to give him an opportunity. They can't afford to.
Right.
Someone like Hendrick can afford to. I don't think Spire can at this point, because they're too busy trying to claw their way up the ladder.
And they have a young, stud, in Hocevar. So
yeah.
they're ready to. They're already showing the progress.
Right.
So
yeah.
And yeah, Zane Smith had good runs in that car, but Hocevar put together a really nice rookie campaign. So
yeah,
he's not going anywhere, and they like him. It's like who else could be on the chopping block? It's getting kind of tight right now.
Right.
Denny Hamlin, I know he's getting older, but he's not done being a contender for the playoffs.
And then we don't know what's happened with Corey LaJoie yet, do we?
No, I don't think he's got a spot nailed down yet. Nope.
Yeah, I mean, we don't know if the final deal with that car with Rick Ware Racing in that car either. So
Yeah, I'm sure he'll probably be back.
More than likely he'll be there, but
Yeah.
it sure seems like they're leaving a window open.
Yeah. Yep.
So, James, if you want your chance to pick up a copy of NASCAR Ignition, make another, because you had it, right? You got the refund on it. So so if you want to pick it up, if you want one more shot to get it,
no, I do not.
You're running out of chances because it's going away, man.
No, thank you.
NASCAR video games, NASCAR Heat, and NASCAR Ignition will be removed from the servers as far as all the game.
That's okay.
Companies.
They had a good run. NASCAR Heat franchise was pretty solid.
Yeah, it was.
Good run. Good run.
All right. In anticipation of the new game coming from iRacing.
NASCAR 25.
Yep. Looking forward to that.
iRacing.
Everything I see on it, every time I see something, it looks good. So I mean, we're not seeing much.
Between that and GTA 6.
Yeah.
I'm looking at a comeback.
Yep.
We'll see.
Yeah, I'm excited. GTA 6. I might want to
get my hands on this one. Yeah.
But yeah, I'm excited about the new NASCAR game. The new Jurassic Park Survival game looks good too. I mean, no, that's not racing.
What is this? Okay, speaking of that, what is this these viral clips that I keep seeing on my Instagram or Facebook that has dinosaurs chasing people through the streets? Have you seen these?
No, I haven't seen these.
It's like these survival games, but they're almost like they're modded, and it's dinosaurs chasing people through the streets, and they're trying to get away from them. I don't know. It catches me every time, and I have to stop and watch it.
Maybe it's the new Jurassic World movie.
I don't know.
That comes out this year too.
Yeah, that's coming out. Yeah, man,
it's gonna be a good year.
What is about these videos? These videos, they know how to get me. It's terrible. Stops me every time.
Well, James, we said we would stretch this out for an hour and
we've
some
done
minutes.
It.
We've done it. So let's we don't have to spend a ton of time on this because we've eaten up a ton of time discussing other random stuff. But let's talk about our Christmas wishes or post-Christmas wishes.
New Year's wishes.
Yeah, New Year's wishes. 2025 wishes. 5 each. We'll do 5 each.
Okay.
I'll get us started just to get things rolling. And I put very little information out here for James and I to go off of. I said they can be realistic, unrealistic. But basically, I said in the list, because we were doing this before Christmas originally, if you could ask Santa for 5 things, what would you ask for? So, and for 2025, but it doesn't necessarily have to be 2025. It's just some stuff we'd find out in 2025. So it could be future beyond that. So I'll get it started, James, and I'm just going to go with my number 1 is Kyle Busch gets out of RCR and gets a better opportunity somewhere in the Cup Series.
Ooh. Would you like to put a couple of seats out there that he could potentially have?
I don't know. I mean, I'd love to see him reunited with Hendrick.
That's the one. That's the one I was thinking in my head.
That'd be a really good one. I don't think it happens, but I mean,
I have one spot that I've thought about numerous times for him.
Yeah.
It's like, all right, Denny Hamlin eventually is going to drive a 2311 car. Maybe with the lack of sponsorship, maybe that opens the door for a reunion. The 18's just sitting there, nobody's running it.
Well, I saw a post recently. There's some hints that maybe the 54 becomes the 18 this year.
Oh God.
Because that's what Joe Gibbs said. He said that 18 is available for Ty if he wants it.
Yep. Ty wanted to keep his identity with that 54, so I don't know.
We'll see.
Which is funny because it was Kyle's 54 before Ty was even in diapers.
Right. Exactly.
So,
exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, I would love to see Kyle go over to Spire and get in some sort of ownership situation to kind of, buy back into his own team that it used to be.
We thought that's what he was going to do
at
one point.
But I would love to see a Hendrick reunite.
I think Kyle has regrets about not setting himself up better for the future.
I think so. I think he's not happy at RCR, right?
No, I think he's often compared himself to Brad along the way, and I think what Brad's done has been pretty brilliant. How Brad's navigated his NASCAR career and post NASCAR career, right? And I think Kyle's like, God dang it, how did I blow this? I had KBM.
Well, and he did it with his attempt to get into to bring KBM to the Xfinity Series. That failed. I mean, the Truck Series seemed to be succeeding, and then when he went to RCR, he lost the Toyota the support, and that, I mean, killed that program. Yep. So yeah, I mean, the thing for me is that as a Kyle Busch fan, I want to see Kyle go somewhere and be competitive again. I don't, and what I see if he stays at RCR for the next couple years and continues to run like he's doing, he's going to retire early. He's going to focus on Brexton, and we're not going to get to see Kyle finish out his career, in a cool way, winning races.
I don't want to see him limp. Yeah, I
Right.
don't want to see him limp to the end.
Right. So I would like to see him get another opportunity. Hendrick would be a great opportunity. So. But I don't know. Who knows what's available for Kyle right now?
I think Kyle's going to win some races in 2025.
I hope so. And
I really do. I don't think he's going to be. He was too close to winning this year,
right?
And just didn't happen for him.
And we know that Kyle loves to win. I mean, obviously all these guys do, but we know Kyle hates losing. But is he enjoying the ride with Brexton enough right now to where it makes him care less about the Cup stuff?
Yeah. And maybe he does, Eric. Maybe he does.
He really feels like he's been beaten down the last couple of years. So.
He doesn't have the when he was at his complete apex, he just had this I don't give a damn swagger about him.
He had this arrogance.
Yeah, he doesn't have the arrogance.
But he earned the arrogance, you know?
Oh yeah, it was earned arrogance. And we all hated
KFB,
him and loved him at the same time.
KFB, the KFB line came from that arrogance.
Yeah, he had a swagger to him.
He is not KFB right now.
No, he's just K.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
All right. What's your first?
First wish.
Yeah.
And I don't know what the answer to this is, but I wish for NASCAR to come up with a better playoff format.
Okay.
Now, there's been talks about adjusting points and things like that, but I wish we could settle in on something that improves the product and also actually brings the excitement that NASCAR talks about. Because I feel like we left last season in a little bit of a ugh.
Yeah.
And that should not be how your playoffs end. Your playoffs should always lift up the sport. I feel like we were left holding out our hands and didn't have anything. We just didn't have it. There was no give for us last year. And I just want the playoffs to the playoffs aren't going away. I'm never going to wish for the playoffs to go away. I'm not going to do that. I'm old school, but I'm not that old school. We need a playoff system.
Right.
But give us something that really is impactful for us, the fans, but also makes the championship feel earned for the champion.
Right.
And right now I feel like we're lacking a little bit of both. And I don't know what the fix is, but if I had a wish, that would be my wish. Whatever the fix is, let's fix it and let's put it in now so that we can have everything we want for a championship going forward.
Okay. I think that's a good one.
Probably on your list as well, I would assume, or maybe you thought about it at least.
Yeah, sort of. I'll actually give you mine in a minute that kind of fits with that. It's not going very far out on a limb, but I do have one kind of tie into that. But yeah, I last year definitely left a bad taste as the way the playoffs wound down. Even with no disrespect to Joey Logano for winning the championship, but Joey winning the championship also didn't help that any.
No,
the way he got in didn't help any. The fiasco that happened at Martinsville didn't help any.
And the penalties.
Yeah,
didn't help.
It was a lot, and I'm with you. I don't know the solution. I like the format of the final race, and that anybody could win it, and that all you have to do is beat the other guys to win it. But I also understand the negative to that. One silly little thing can cost you a championship. So I don't know. It's tough. It's really tough to.
I just and I hate that there's fans out there that think that Joey Logano isn't that's an empty cup and he's not a deserving champion.
No, he deserves it.
Yeah, it leaves a bad taste in my mouth that he won the title.
Right.
But he was a deserving champion regardless.
He won it under the rules.
Yeah, he won
it. It's no different than when Kyle won it after missing the start of the
breaking
season.
His leg. Yeah. Yep. Exactly.
James, speaking of, anyway, I am so sick and tired of these clickbait news sites using Dale Jr.'s line as a headline, where Dale Jr. said on his podcast that he wants to go back to the old system.
Yeah.
And they're all, Dale Jr. calls for NASCAR to go back to the old system. No, he didn't. He didn't say that. He said he would love to go back to the old system, but he knows it's not going to happen.
It's not feasible.
It's not a story, and these people keep freaking leading with these clickbait headlines.
Yep.
Pisses me off every time I see it. My
Yep.
God.
Yep.
All right, my second one. This again, not going out on a limb, but it does deal with the championship essentially. My number 2 was that NASCAR does make the decision to rotate the championship race at the end of the season. So
I like that too. Yep.
not in discussion needed there because we already discussed it, but that's I'm hoping at least of all of these that one comes true.
I love that one. Yeah, I do too. I don't know what the right number is. If it's 3, if it's 5, I don't. Maybe it's 4. I don't know. Maybe it's a presidential cycle.
Yeah,
we rotated around. But yeah, there's got to be a way.
I think every year I want to see them every year. The championship is at a different.
Yes,
track.
and it's 4. Yeah, and like it's 4 different tracks.
No, screw that. I just pull out, throw them all in a hat and pull one out.
Oh, that's a good idea too. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah,
I like that.
All right, what's your number 2?
Right. This is a good one, I think. I would love to see, and I don't care who it is, I don't care which one it is. But we had all that conversation about Verstappen versus Larson last year.
Okay.
Can we get an F1 driver, like a very current or recent F1 driver? Can we get one coming over here and just trying it again?
Pretty cool.
Remember the days of how much fun that was when we had Franchitti and Montoya?
Yeah, I didn't appreciate it back then because I didn't know as much about Formula One back then as I do now.
Yeah, and I just wish we had somebody who could come over here and give it a go. I want to see somebody give it a try, especially with the popularity. And honestly, in the reverse too, I'd love to see one of our guys, and I know it's not possible. I'd love to see one of our guys go over there and give it a try, for maybe a race or two. But yeah, I'd love to see. Man, it would be so cool if Verstappen came over here and tried it, just for a little while.
I got an idea.
I would love to see it.
Here's my idea. Austin Dillon retires, moves to the front office at RCR.
Yeah.
Daniel Ricciardo comes over and drives the 3 car.
I just try it. Yeah. I would. Oh boy, people would flip out.
Love to see
but
it.
I would love to see. And Verstappen loves the truck series in iRacing.
Okay.
Come on, man. Come on over. That's a wish I have. I want to see an F1 guy come over.
I'd love to see it. That's a good one. I like that one.
Yeah. Yep.
My number 3, North Wilkesboro becomes a points paying race. I want North Wilkesboro to be a points race.
Where would you like it? Where on the schedule?
Oh, that's a good question. I didn't think that far ahead. I don't care.
Would you like it? Would you like it as a playoff race? Would you like it kind of like?
How about an opportunity to
Iowa?
championship race?
Oh,
Put it in the rotation.
God dang!
Can you
Does it
imagine?
have a big enough pit road at this point? Yeah, it probably does, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's got a big, they can make it work. I don't know if it's got the seats. It doesn't have the seats to run a championship race.
No,
but
NASCAR would flip out over that. Yeah.
I think because of the size, I don't think you could run it as a playoff race. I think it'd have to be a regular season race.
It'd be like an Iowa. Yeah, it'd probably fit in like an Iowa.
But I would really like to see it as a points paying race. I'd like to see the All-Star race go somewhere else. Put the All-Star race at Rockingham, and let's run.
Bring Rockingham back. It's a good wish.
Yeah, let's run North Wilkesboro as a points race. I think it is. I think it's proven itself as worthy of a points race.
I think it's going to get there eventually.
I think so too. I think it will.
I think it will. Yep.
All right, you're number 3, James.
Number 3 is an easy one for me. Perfect weather on Memorial Day.
Oh, that's a good one. That's a really good one.
65 and sunny in both areas, please. I want to see Larson actually attempt this thing.
Well, and this is the last year of Monaco too, right? It'd be on the same weekend? Because it moves after this year, I think.
Monaco might have one more year.
Okay.
Yeah, I think Monaco has I think Monaco has 2 years left.
Okay.
It's like a 3-year.
Right.
Yeah, there's an agreement in place.
Okay.
The Racing World Series is one day for a little while longer.
Right.
So
okay, cool.
But yeah, just perfect weather.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Indy and Charlotte, please. No.
That's a really
no
you just won this.
I just want to see the double legitimately tried. I want him to see if he can get Tony's record.
Yeah.
I want to see if he can do all 1,100 miles and compete for a win in one of the races. That's what I want to see.
Man, I want to see him win the Indy 500 so bad.
I just don't know if he'll win the Indy 500, but god dang it, if he got a top 5.
I want one of our guys to win that race.
Oh, it would be so much fun.
Totally. And if anybody could do it, he's the best one to do it.
Yeah, Tony came the closest to doing it for a NASCAR guy. I mean, Robbie Gordon, people forget. Or no, excuse me, not Robbie Gordon. AJ Allmendinger almost won that dang thing.
Yeah.
And people forget his seatbelt came loose.
Right.
he had to pit early to fix his seatbelt. Yeah. But AJ probably the closest to like a guy who's been in the Cup Series for a long time. But he's got open wheel roots for a long time. So yeah, that's my third wish. No, just perfect weather.
Yep, you win.
Memorial Day.
You win. Should have saved that for last. That was a good one.
Yeah, sorry.
My number 4, probably surprisingly the most unrealistic one on my list. Construction begins at the new California Speedway.
Oh yeah, that's got to happen.
It's got to
That
happen.
might come true.
I don't know,
That might
man.
come
I'm
true.
not. I'm not optimistic that we ever
That
race
a
there
warehouse
again.
is awful close to the
That
track.
picture of turn 1 just turning into a warehouse is crazy.
It makes me sad. It makes me sad.
But I like, again, I stand by. Until I see a shovel go on the ground on the Speedway property, I don't think it will ever happen. But
Yeah,
I'm optimistic. I want to see it. Man, we need a race out there. We really need a race.
we'll get back there. We'll get back there. And then also, you have Irwindale getting torn down.
Yeah,
now.
that sucks.
Man, and people were cheering when they were tearing up the asphalt, and I was like, "Come on,
Yeah,
you guys don't know what you're cheering about. This is sad.
People
It's
suck.
too bad. They do. Most people do. Yeah.
All right, number 4, James.
Number 4 kind of ties in with your number 1, but I'm going to rephrase it a little bit.
Okay.
I want to see a legacy guy win the Daytona 500. Somebody
That's a good one.
somebody who's obviously Kyle Busch is the easiest one, right? Somebody who's been trying for many years to get that thing. We've seen too many
Brad would be
great
a good one.
drivers. Yeah, too many great drivers just haven't been able to get it. Rusty Wallace, Tony Stewart.
We've wasted a lot of 500s on one-off winners.
Yeah, I know, and I just want to see. I mean, I don't, I think of Kyle. I mean, I think of Kyle Busch when I think this wish.
What better way to break the streak of the winless streak?
I'd even count Larson as one of these guys. Like, man, it would add to his legacy if he could get one. He doesn't need it right now, though. But I mean,
there's not much that Larson needs, period. But that would definitely be a feather.
But I do think William Byron winning it now, like he did last year, will definitely work for him down the road when he somehow overcomes and wins that Cup championship someday. I do think he'll get there eventually, but he's already got the 500 in his back pocket. And you think Denny Hamlin, like he's got a handful of them,
right?
But hasn't been able to get the Cup championship. So yeah, I just would love to see, and I'll just say Kyle Busch for now, but I'd love to see Kyle Busch win the Daytona 500. God dang it, was he close?
Yeah.
A couple years ago, and I mean, he famously led the 500th mile.
Yep.
Just didn't get the checkered flag. So Brad Keselowski, that's the other one. If Brad could get it done,
Brad would be a good one.
That's the other one, because he's been so freaking close, And I'd throw Blaney on that list too, because Blaney, but again, he's got time, like Kyle and Brad.
Yeah,
those guys. If one of those guys could win the 500, that would make me happy.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah.
How about Martin Truex Jr.?
Yeah, that would be a really cool story, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it would be a cool win.
I'd actually cheer for him on that one.
Yep, it would. I would too.
James, the Chicago Bears are leading the football game right now. That's amazing.
Oh, well. Is that one of your wishes?
No, it's not one of my wishes. My number 5 is another racetrack related one. You can tell I like the racetracks.
That's good. That's
this
right.
This one, when I give you this one, you're gonna go, oh yeah, no kidding. Of course, that's on your list. Chicagoland Speedway is revived, back to the Cup Series.
Yep, and it's not dead.
No, it's not dead. I'm hoping that one is one of the more realistic ones on my list.
She's on life support, but she's out there.
Yeah, will be interesting to see if we extend the Chicago Street Race after this year.
Well, what are they talking about? San Diego as well.
Yeah, but that's okay. They can run it anywhere as long as we're not racing in Chicago. We can bring back Chicagoland Speedway.
We can, yeah. As long as we don't take it away from Michigan.
Yeah, don't do that. God,
leave our one date alone now. We're okay.
Yeah.
We're okay.
I mean, honestly, if you were to take Michigan away and give it somewhere, that would be the only place I think it was acceptable. Because I like Chicagoland better than Michigan, but no, don't take Michigan's other. It's not going anywhere. You're not. The only way you'd take Michigan away is if you put a race in downtown Detroit. I mean, you got a race in Michigan. No,
they better not.
That Detroit street course is excellent for IndyCar. It would suck for NASCAR.
Yeah.
God, it would be way too tight. You think Chicago's tight? That would be way too tight.
Yeah. Oh yeah. God, walking downtown is tight.
Right. Yeah. No kidding. All right. So how are you gonna beat your top one there, James?
I don't know if I can beat Larson. But I'm gonna reach for one that you've probably forgotten about.
Okay.
Because I know a lot of people have. My last wish is, can we figure out a way to make the in-season bracket matter?
Okay.
Because
I was actually thinking about the bracket not too long ago.
Yeah. Oh, good. I'm glad you were thinking about it.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people forgot about it. But I think if we could figure out a way to make the bracket matter, that actually could be really cool. And
do you have any suggestions on how to do that?
And I don't know, because I don't know if money's the right thing.
Do we give points? Do you get points for winning the bracket?
Maybe you get like a first round bye in the
Ooh, that's a
playoff.
lot, man.
That is a lot.
You're not
Yeah,
giving
that's a lot.
if you're going to give a first round bye for that, you got to give a first round bye for the regular season champion.
Maybe that's it. Maybe that's the 1 seed is the regular season champion. The 2 seed is the playoff.
So the
in-season
first round of the
bracket winner.
playoffs, we only.
But that's what the in-season bracket is. What, 6 races?
Yeah. Well, how about we do that? We give a playoff berth to the winner of the bracket. We give a playoff berth or a first round bye. How do we want to do this?
This is tough. I know it's a lot.
I'm thinking of how
It's
could
a
we
lot.
get rid of the first round and make it a final round instead. So now you get a 3-race championship instead of a 1-race championship.
Oh,
and
yeah,
we
there you
eliminate
go.
the first round
There you go.
completely.
Well, and the reason I thought of this was the NBA had their in-season tournament again, just recently.
Oh,
And
I got it.
nobody,
Go ahead. Keep going.
No, I was just gonna say, but nobody cared about
Yeah.
that thing, and I'm like, God dang it! There's potential here, and I know NASCAR is gonna try this. If we can make it, learn from the NBA. The NBA came up with a good idea for this thing, but nobody cares about it. So can we figure out a way to build upon what the NBA started and make this damn thing make a difference in the season? Make it worth our while to watch and invest in it.
I think before I give you my brilliant idea that saves NASCAR,
Oh,
as we've saved NASCAR so many times,
we have. If they just listen to us.
if they would just listen to us. Before I give you that idea, let me just say that I think the bracket, as interesting as it is, I think it's dumb. Like it's not.
I mean, yeah.
It's not. It can't mean anything because it's such a
I know it's dumb.
It like doesn't. There's no logic to it. Like it's literally almost completely random. So like it can't really matter, right?
It's a gimmick for fan service,
Right?
And some people may say that's what the playoffs are, but
Right.
But regardless, it's a TV product.
Here's how I'm gonna fix NASCAR. I'm gonna fix the playoffs.
Okay.
So I'm gonna fix one of your wishes right here. So the first round.
I feel like you like this wish.
I do. First round. We start we get the 16 drivers or whatever. But you get an automatic bye through the first round if you win the bracket. You get an automatic bye if you win if you win the regular season. So there's one spot left at the end to get through the first round. First round is now a 1-race round. Instead of the 1-race championship round, it's a 1-race first round of the playoffs.
Okay.
Whoever wins out of those 16 gets in, or whatever, however you do it. So that's your third berth from that to automatically get in. I don't know. Okay, now, so I'm kind of pulling this out of but then that way you can shift the playoffs to where now that single race is at the beginning of the playoffs, not the end of the playoffs. And then, yeah, I don't know.
I'm gonna hold on. You gave me another idea.
Okay.
So let's do it this way. There's an opportunity in the Cup Series regular season for 2 first-round buys. Okay. What if you could get both of them and then use them for 2 separate rounds?
Ooh.
That would be a massive advantage.
That's really interesting.
It's like overly powerful advantage. But say Denny Hamlin wins the tournament and then wins the regular season points title. And he's like, hey, I am in the round of 8, no matter what.
That's
and
funny.
Here you go. I mean, you'd be like, hey, Denny Hamlin earned 2 buys. Here he goes.
Now like
fans would riot.
Oh yeah,
at that.
They would.
And I don't even like it, but I thought of it and I'm like, hey man, if we're gonna do this thing, let's do this.
If you're gonna gimmick it up, gimmick it up.
That's good. If we're gonna be wrestling, let's be wrestling.
Yeah. James, I think
we're already going to streaming.
So. I only have it streaming here next to me, and I'm hardly paying attention, but it kind of looks like that they took the Bears touchdown away, so they're not leading anymore.
See, yeah, you jinxed it.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, there you go. There's our our off-season podcast. We haven't even discussed this, but we'll come back probably another time before the season starts.
Yeah, maybe in a couple of weeks. We'll do another one.
We have to get our fantasy winner on a pod. Before the season starts.
Taylor, I know. Yep. Yeah, he's going to be excited. He's going to be excited that we dropped an episode. He's going to text me as soon as he gets the notification on his phone.
Well, good. So. I'm glad. That's what we're here for, is to please. We're here to please our 3 or 4 listeners. So
he's going to come on this episode. He's going to be extremely loud and ready to go.
Yeah. I know. Yeah. So yeah, so we'll be back again, and we'll get things rolling for the rest of the season. James, where can people hit you up if they want to chat with you during?
Well,
I'm
still on the Twitter platform.
Okay.
So you can get me there, or you can even get me on Instagram if you want at James Cush on both.
There you go. I'm at T Super Speedway on X because it's X James. Elon says it's X. All right, come on. Just
because he owns it doesn't mean I'm going to say it.
I'm just waiting. I'm waiting for Blue Sky to take off. James, you're not on the Blue Sky, are you?
I'm not on the Blue Sky. I told you already. I can't do anymore.
You just make me sad.
I just can't do anymore. I don't have.
Freaking marketing guy, and you're not on social. It's insane.
I mean, I'm there, but I'm there.
You can find us on Facebook at facebook.com/thesuperspeedway. Our website is thesuperspeedway.com. The podcast is on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, Amazon Music, Audible, and iHeartRadio. Subscribe to hear new episodes each week during the regular season and a couple times when we get bored during the off season. There you go. Like I said, we'll be back in probably a couple weeks to do another postseason or off-season podcast. And then before we know it, it'll be time to start talking about the Clash and getting things rolling for the 2025 NASCAR season. We hope everybody had a Merry Christmas. We hope everyone has a Happy New Year. Stay safe and stick around for us when the season starts. Until then, everybody, let's go racing.